Hi everyone. So this is for segment 2 of Growing Up Jones. That's so crazy because I have like so many stories, and there's stories and then there's things that actually affected me. So I'm sticking, excuse me, I'm tired. I'm sticking to the ones that I know are the ones that I hold, the things that hold, that have a hold of me. Not that I hold, that I'm kind of holding them too, but they have a hold on me. As like when I think or talk about it, it still brings tears. So that means that's something that I'm struggling with to let go. I know it's a few of you that are saying in your head, well, as moms, we do the best we can. For me, that's a cop-out. I'm a mother, and I'm a mother until I close my eyes. That doesn't stop my responsibility. That doesn't stop. It doesn't change. And when I close my eyes, I mean the last time I close my eyes. So I'm not a mother until my child reaches a certain age. Then they're like have to fend for themselves. I'm a mother until death. Period. I'm a mother. So that means I'm still giving counsel. I'm still there for support, whatever they may need. I'm still there. Yes, there's things that you don't do as they grow up, but still, you're still a mother. So for that mother that says, well, I did the best I can, or I did the best I could with what I had, and no ma'am, that's not okay. That's not okay. Because as long as you have life in you, you can still do better. So at what time does it stop when you, or at what point is it okay to just say this is enough? It's never enough. It's never enough. You can always do better. So as for that, and as a mother myself, love is just that. It doesn't come with any conditions. I love you regardless. I love you because you are my child. That's the condition it comes with. That's it, and that's it, and that's all. So whatever that love consists of, if it consists of hugs and kisses, that's what it is. I don't know, but I do know it doesn't come with any conditions. I love you because you are my child, and I love you. Here, I gave birth to you, and I'm going to take care of you until my eyes close. However I need to do that, that's what I'm going to do. So if that's hugs, that's hugs. If that's support, that's support. Whatever it is. I struggled because I didn't know. I used to think for so long, like, why my mom, why she didn't really love me. I remember her saying one time, I knew you would be okay. I don't know what that means, but I didn't question it. In my head, I was going like, what does that mean? Excuse me. So you treated me a certain way because you knew I would be okay? I'm still trying to figure out what that means. And then, yeah, she hit me with I did the best I can. No, ma'am, it's not okay. No, it's not okay. It's definitely not okay for me. But I let her say what she needed to say to make her feel better. I'm working on addressing things when people say stuff, but it's not about having a response. It's about listening. So you're listening for not just what they say, for what they're not saying. Well, I knew those words were cop-outs. I knew that while listening to her, but I let her do what she needed to do in order to make herself feel better. I wondered why she didn't protect me. I never felt protected. There was so many instances where she was supposed to be that person because there was no father. So she was supposed to be that, and she wasn't. You know, she was never supportive. Ever. And so I know that maybe in her life she went through a lot. I don't know everything, but it's just, how can you birth children and be so disconnected? That's a different type of skill. I'm not saying feed me and all that stuff. I'm saying, how can you be so disconnected? We know most people are going to feed their children, you know. And I mean, if we want to be correct, I don't know. All I know is a lot of things were not, for myself, were not done correctly. And I say correctly because it's about me. Wasn't done correctly for me. And as she said, she did the best she could. And as I say, no ma'am. When it was time to step up and I called out for help, there was no help. There was no support. There was no protection. There was no love. There was none of that. It wasn't what I needed. My sister was dating someone, and they had a relationship for a while. And I'm the younger sister. You know, it's a kid growing up, you know. And of course, you want to go everywhere with your sister. I always wanted to be with my sister, but we were, I don't know, I think from young, kind of like placed against each other, if that makes sense, because to this day there's no relationship. But that's a whole nother video. But yeah, she was dating someone, and it was so uncomfortable at times because of the dynamic of that relationship. He was, I seemed to be, when I first met him, nice guy. I mean, I'm a child, I don't know. I say about no more than 13. And I remember a couple times, my mom, I mean, he was always pretty cool, seemed cool, I don't know. But it was this one particular night, we went to they went to like a room or something, and I didn't know how to swim, and we went to a pool. He's like, oh, let me go to the pool, and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to go to the pool, you know. And it was cool. It's my sister, man, so it's like nothing, like it's my brother-in-law. I'm the little sister, so of course, you know, being in the South, most men protect you anyway. So it was outside of whatever motel, hotel we were at. And so we went out there and we're in the water, and he was teaching me how to swim. So he was like, oh, lay. He was trying to see, let me see what you know. And he was like, are you scared to put your head underwater? And yeah, I was afraid to put, I always been afraid, you know, I don't know. So he was showing me a few things, and then this one instance, he's like, okay, put your, lay on top of my hands, and I'm gonna move you around in the water. So I'm like, I'm afraid you're gonna drop me. I'm not gonna drop you, I wouldn't do that. And you know, okay, so I kept tipping off, and we thought that was funny. It was funny that it tipped off because I was afraid. Oh, I was even afraid to do that. So we get up there, and he take me around a couple times, and then his hand starts to move. It's moving as we're going. I'm looking down at my hand, sorry, but you know, I'm like this on top of his hand. So we're moving, and he's moving me around in a circle. And as we move around a few times, his hand is moving down further. First they were like One is like right in between my breast and my up here, and then one is on my stomach area. So it was moving down, and I'm just feeling like he's just trying to get his placement, and I'm not trying to freak out because I don't want to think he was gonna drop me, because that's where I'm like, I hope he don't drop me. Maybe his hands is getting tired. And he kept moving down, and it got to like my pelvic area, and he seemed to stay there for a minute. I'm like, okay. So in my head, I'm like, oh, he's not gonna drop me. He's not gonna drop me. You know, we're going down. He take me walking with me in the pool. He's like, oh yeah, so now kick your legs. And you know, I'm kicking. No, you gotta kick him a little harder. I'm gonna lower you down a little bit. And he lowers me down, and you know, he brings me back up, but my head is never. He's just like lowering my body a little bit. So as he's lowering, his hands are falling between my legs, and then he moved them back up. And then he kept doing it, and then all of a sudden his hands went in my bathing suit. And I'm like, what the hell? You know, then he sticks his fingers further, and I just fall off. And I didn't fall off, I just flipped off, really, because I'm like, but I don't understand this. All I know is that don't feel right to me. And as a child, I was just kind of freaked out. And from that point, that whole night, I don't remember what happened after that night. I don't remember if we stayed, if I went home. But from that point on, after I flipped out, I know I didn't say anything, and I just got out. And it was just a blur from that point. I don't know where I went or what I did. I do know there was a room, and my sister, like, we're 4 years older, 4 years apart. I'm 49, so I just know that at that point, I think it's some type of shock, because I most definitely blurred out the rest of that night. But fast forward to later on, I remember telling my oldest sister, she's somewhere in her 60s, I don't know, early 60s. I told her about that instance, and she, you know, she's kind of the peacemaker. You know, she wanted to know everything. I told her everything, but she didn't say anything. She didn't tell anyone. I told her because I could confide in somebody, and it was something that bothered me. Well, nothing else happened other than, you know, my mom tried to send me somewhere, like to a store with him. In a store, like in the South, it's like that country mile is a real country mile. And it was dark, and I was afraid. I was afraid that he was gonna do something to me. I didn't know what, but I was smart enough to know that that whole instance, I wanted to stay as far away from him as possible. I wasn't gonna be alone with him or nothing. So she sent us to the store. He gonna go with you? I don't understand. Like, what did he need to go with me for? He could just go to the store. You sending me to the store in pitch dark? Why you sending me up? What, he supposed to be a hero? I don't know, because he wasn't a hero to me. Like, why send this man with me? And he could have just went to the store for you. So she's sending me to the store. I don't remember what for, but we go, and it was dark all the way around. As we going, I take off running. And he calling me. I'm like, you ain't about to get me. I'm like a track star. I'm laughing because now that I can laugh about it, it's different than before. And before it was so, because I didn't know what was going to happen, but I held it so long because my sister loved this man. That was her man. Like, that's off. Like, that's weird. But I do know, and then when I came back, he told on me that I took off or whatever. And my mom was so angry. She was like, why you run away? What if something would have happened to you? I sent him with you for, you know, for protection and this and that. And I'm thinking to myself, you could have just sent him. It was really, really weird. That was. So later on, maybe sometime later, my sister gets pregnant. And I remember everybody's in the kitchen. She's like big pregnant. So this is time passed, at least over a year has passed. Nobody said anything. And everybody's in the kitchen. And, you know, I managed to stay away from him most of the time where we're never alone. So that was, you know, kudos to me. Now my older sister knows what's going on, but she hasn't said anything. And my dad is over, and my sister's in the kitchen, my mom is in the kitchen, and he's in the room. I don't know what he was doing in there. And everybody says, so I'm walking from the kitchen to the front door, and as I'm walking, I guess he seen me like through the hallway, and he calls Nita, because everybody calls me Nita. He calls me Nita, and I look, and when I look, he's shaking his freaking penis at me. And I'm like, oh my God, I just keep on walking. I could not believe it. And so at some point, my sister spills the beans. My oldest sister, she tells what had been going on. I told her about that. I guess she needed to solidify the fact that this happened. So she spills the beans like only she can do. And she tells, and then my mom tells me, well, what happened? And, you know, I tell her what happened and everything. And she's like, well, don't tell your dad. We'll take care of it. So I end up telling my sister. My sister was devastated because she's like big pregnant and this has happened. And all I know is we never see him. I never see him no more. I'm pretty sure they get into it. I don't know. I don't know the ins or outs. I just tried to stay away because I didn't want to break up that. But I think it was some resentment from that day forward from my sister. If I think about it now, I think it's some resentment from that point. Years later, to us being in California, I remember her, we had a conversation about something else, and she was telling me that the only reason why he did that to me was because I was probably asking him to, or you know, doing stuff like I'm always flirting around men and showing myself around men. And I'm like, oh my God, like she's really, truly delirious. But it was just weird, like, how you gonna blame me because your man was trying to molest a child? How you gonna blame me for that? He looking at your little sister when his eyes should be just on you. But I think literally this is just coming to me now. I think that there was some resentment just from that. We're only 4 years apart and never have had a relationship. So after that, like I said, here in California, I find out that like my daughter, maybe, I can't really remember how old she was, maybe about 10, 9, 11, I don't know, somewhere in there. I have been allowing, my sister have always been close to my oldest daughter, so, you know, they were, she would see her, pick her up and take her all the time, and she loved going to her auntie house, and I would never deny her that. So I found out that this man, they had brought him from Louisiana all the way out here to California, and you know, she's seeing this dude again, got him in her house, staying in her house. I'm like, whoa, 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 that's cool, do what you do, but I know the family faulty at this point. When I tell you guys some of the stuff that went on, you'll totally understand why it's so dysfunctional. So I wasn't tripping off of that. I was tripping off the fact that my baby girl was over there and she can't protect herself. I was so upset. It was like it was a rage that was in me. That rage was that little girl. I was ready to kill him. I didn't know that he was there. It's the conversation I had with my daughter, and I was like, what? And she like, Crystal's daddy. Crystal daddy, what? And, you know, they didn't tell me that he was there. Because, oh, at this particular time, this was one of the times I wasn't invited. I wasn't welcome at her home. I didn't mind that my baby come because that's her family. I wasn't tripping. But I'm not welcome. I wasn't welcome to come in the home, if you understand. I could drop her off. They could come pick her up or whatever. And I'm not asking nobody to take my baby. This is what you want to do. Or she wants to go over there, you know. So when I found out that, I got on the freeway. They live somewhere in, I don't want to lie. Because I don't want to make up, like, I won't say Tustin, somewhere down to 10. And I was still in Los Angeles, South Central, mind you. So I get on the freeway. I'm like, oh, heck no. That ain't what I said, but those are nice words. So I got on the freeway when it got my baby. And I voiced my opinion about how I felt. Like, y'all faulty, this is my baby. And I said, if anything happened to her, all y'all in here dead. And I meant just that. I would have killed everybody up in there. My mom was there. She knew about what happened. You told me not to tell my dad. My sister was there. I don't know if the dude was there. All I know is I know those people were there and they knew what happened. So how could you allow this to happen? So some time passed, and I can't tell you how long, because it was a lot. It's been a lot of times where we don't talk in between because I'm not with the foolishness. I went through that as a child because I had to, but as an adult, I don't have to. You don't have to even be in my space, in my company, around me. So I chose another life outside of the life I grew up in. I didn't want that. But when choosing that life, I didn't make sure that these things didn't spill over into my life. I didn't get rid of those feelings. So that's what all of this is for. But my mom called me, and, you know, to add insult to injury, she was like, so the baby can't come over anymore? I'm like, no, not right. Why? I'm not gonna say his name. Why not right? Not while he's there. And she goes, who? I said, I called his name, and she was like, well, why not? What did he do? I was like, hey, you know, I sometimes talking to my mama makes me just, it just makes me want to, like, you really? You know what happened. So I'm like, well, Mom, you know what Ricky, well, you know what he did. And she was like, no, what did he do? And I hung up. And then she called back. I said, you insulted me right now. Like, you acting like you don't know what happened to me as a child. No, I really don't. What happened? So you have just chose to just ignore that your child was molested by this dude. You just chose to ignore that. You chose to ignore the fact that he stuck his fingers inside of me. And probably would have did more if I wasn't a track star. I was running. Like, yeah, I'm going to stay away from situations that are not right. Like, you just chose to act like this never happened. I know some people like, how can you love somebody and know all it is? Still my mom. Still love her. That's the honor and respect I have. But if it came to me, my child, and my mother's gonna hurt my child, my mama gotta go. I'm gonna be totally honest. My children are the world to me. And that's the mother I needed. I needed the mother that I am. That mother that would have took him and ripped him apart for hurting her baby. I didn't get that. I got somebody that chose to ignore what happened. And then when asked about it, act like she know nothing about it. And as I sit here and I think about it, that's what she do her whole life. Everything she's ever done, she try to act like she hasn't done it. Remember I said no accountability? That's my family, no accountability. They can slap you in your face and tell you they didn't slap you. You felt it. Let's just get rid of sight. You felt it. Then you seen it. And they're going to tell you it didn't happen. And we supposed to be okay. We not okay. It's just a lot of things I chose not to address. Because I knew better. It's the reason why I separated myself as soon as I was able to separate myself. It's the reason why when parties and things went on and gatherings, I was the one you didn't see. Because soon as something happened, I'm gone. I'm taking me and mine and I'm gone. Yeah, I worked a lot and all of that, but I chose not to involve myself with the negativity of the Joneses because it was off. They bring people in to mistreat them. They bring people in like they loving, and it's straight betrayal when you turn your back. Hell, probably right in your face. It's nothing, nobody. People thinking that they finding sanctuary and you're not. You're not. They feeling like, oh, well, we found people that's just like us. No, they not. It's a different breed all around. And I'm saying this, and I'm saying this just to give you an idea of what I grew up in. I don't want to see nothing happen to none of my family. That don't mean I ever got to see them again. That's just the way I feel. I finally, to be totally honest, I miss what we had. We just had this conversation. I miss the cards. We used to play cards. I miss that. I miss the laughing, the talking, all of the stuff that we used to do. But it's not worth the pain because it's gonna always be short-lived. It's gonna be always short-lived. So it's not worth any of that. And I'd rather be happy and remember what we had than to be worried about the next fallout. You know, when somebody feel like they don't want to address what they've done and they try to flip everything back on you, and what y'all call that, narcissism. They want to flip everything back on you like as if you did it. Like, I just sit and look at people like, y'all crazy. And people talking about the next person and then say you did it. Like, what? I don't even want to have this conversation. You just talking. Like, it's weird. It's the weirdest thing ever. And I'm saying it's weird because I don't say anything and I just listen. And they think that's you dumb. No. I'm really sitting here thinking about the whole time you running off at the mouth. I'm thinking like, man, why don't she shut up? Like, what is she talking about? That made no sense. Like, you know, this is me in my head. I'm always in my head. And I'm always thinking when people are talking. I'm more observant. And I love that about myself before I'm just popping off at the mouth. I didn't say I was always like that. But, yeah. Just thinking about why we're all so different. I know we're different people, but we're all raised the same. How is it that we didn't come to the same things at the same time? And I guess it comes down to what you need and when you need it. I knew what I needed early. Some of us found out late. So now that I found out, then I'm just correcting everything as I go along, so I don't spread this on to the rest of my family. It's already bled into some of my life in different ways. And the wonderful thing about knowing certain things is you know how to correct it. And people don't know when things are bleeding over, or they're trying to act like they didn't know, or they're not aware, or they're not taking responsibility, no accountability. Then you just shot because you killing everything that's going to help you become better. The thing is to become better, a better version of yourself. When I get up in the morning, I won't be this version. Get to do it brand new. I get to make it way better. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be a better version of myself when I get up in the morning. Like, I wish I could show you my day to day. I don't live in sorrow and misery. It's just that I want to make sure that I never have to have those feelings and they just stick with me. So tomorrow when I get up, brand new. And the next day, brand new. Even better version of myself. Can't nobody stop that. And I'm not going to let no hindrance of nowhere, of nothing, no past come between me being the best version of myself. So I'm going to end this because I got to get some rest.